Space is vast and unforgiving, a wilderness without end. But as much as I've explored its corners and chased its mysteries, I've never felt its weight like I do now, because Earth, our cradle, stands on the brink of annihilation. This is Captain Rogers, mission number 9. I recorded into the log, the words heavy on my tongue. The stakes? Everything. Earth is under attack by an alien force so advanced, it makes the Galactic Empire look like children playing with tin cans. We've faced impossible odds before, but this is different. The enemy, called the Zothar, came without warning. Their ships materialized in Earth's orbit like specters, shimmering with an energy we couldn't understand. Cities burned under their assault, and humanity scrambled to mount a defense. But nothing we threw at them could penetrate their shields. And so they called me. From the Odyssey, I watched the blue-green jewel of Earth, its beauty marred by plumes of smoke rising from its surface. It wasn't just a mission this time. It was personal. "Captain," came the voice of Commander Eliza McCall. She stood at her station, her expression as steely as ever. "We're picking up Zothar signals across all frequencies. They're coordinating their next strike. How long do we have?" I asked. "Hours at most," she replied. "They're targeting key cities, Washington, Tokyo, Berlin. They mean to cripple us entirely." My hands tightened into fists. I'd seen destruction like this before, back on the battlefields of Earth during my younger years. But now, the stakes weren't just one city or one war. It was the survival of the human race. "Helm," I said, my voice cutting through the tension. "Set course for the Zothar mothership. If we're going to stop this, we need to strike at the heart of the beast." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew the risks. Approaching a Zothar mothership was tantamount to suicide. But if we didn't try, there'd be no Earth left to save. "McCall," I continued, "brought a full analysis on their energy signatures. There has to be a vulnerability. Find it." "Yes, Captain," she said, already diving into the data. The Odyssey powered up, its engines roaring as we set a course for the largest Zothar ship, a monstrosity that dwarfed even the largest Galactic Empire cruisers. Its surface pulsed with an alien light, and it seemed almost alive, a predator waiting to devour its prey. I stood at the viewport, my reflection staring back at me. Behind the calm facade, I felt the weight of every decision I'd ever made, every battle I'd ever fought. "Captain," McCall said, interrupting my thoughts, "we may have something. Their energy shields are strong, but they seem to weaken when exposed to specific frequencies emitted by Earth's older communication satellites." I turned to her, a plan already forming in my mind. "Old tech again. Just like the Empire. Maybe that's their blind spot, underestimating the things we've left behind. Do you think it's enough?" she asked. I gave her a grim smile. "It has to be." The Odyssey hurtled through the void, its engines burning brighter than the embers of the cities below. Ahead of us loomed the Zothar mothership, a colossal construct that looked less like a ship and more like a living organism. Its surface shimmered with pulsating energy, like a heartbeat made of light. "Approaching target," McCall reported, her voice steady. "The mothership shields are fully operational." "And the satellites?" I asked, stepping forward. "They're still in orbit," she replied. "Most of them are ancient relics from Earth's early space age. But if we can reactivate their broadcast systems and synchronize the frequencies, it might be enough to disrupt the Zothar shields." "It's a long shot," said Lieutenant Carter, our lead engineer, his tone skeptical. "Those satellites were barely functioning decades ago. Now they're just scrap metal." "Scrap metal or not, they're all we've got," I replied firmly. "McCall, coordinate with Earth's ground stations. See if they can help us patch into the old network. Carter, I want you to pull every trick you've got to amplify those signals." "Aye, Captain." Carter said, already moving. The bridge crew sprang into action, the hum of their consoles blending with the steady thrum of the Odyssey systems. Outside, the stars seemed to hold their breath as we prepared to face the impossible. Underscore 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 underscore. Captain, Bacall called out a few minutes later. Earth is on board. They're reactivating the satellites, but it'll take time. We need to buy them at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I muttered. That's a lifetime in a fight like this. The Zothar ships had already noticed us. Smaller crafts broke away from the mothership, their sleek, organic forms moving with a predatory grace. Multiple bogies incoming, Inside Riley warned. They're fast. Helm evasive maneuvers, I ordered. Weapons, prepare to engage. The Odyssey veered sharply as the enemy ships closed in, their energy weapons lighting up the darkness. The first volley struck our shields, sending a shudder through the ship. Shields holding at 78%, Bacall reported, her voice calm but clipped. Return fire, I said. The Odyssey's railguns roared to life, unleashing a barrage of kinetic rounds that streaked toward the enemy. One of the Zothar ships was hit, its hull fracturing into jagged shards. That's one down, Riley said, a hint of relief in his voice. Don't celebrate yet, I replied. We've got a long way to go. The remaining Zothar ships swarmed around us, their movements almost insect-like. Each attack was precise, their weapons hammering our shields. Shields at 53%, Bacall shouted. Keep them guessing, I said. Helm, take us into the debris field. Use it for cover. The Odyssey dove into the remnants of an old battle, weaving between shattered fragments of long-forgotten ships. The Zothar crafts followed, their weapons tearing through the debris in pursuit. Carter, I called over the comms. How's the signal boost coming? We're patching into the first satellites now, he replied. It's like trying to wake the dead, but we're making progress. Give us another 15 minutes. We might not have 15 minutes, Bacall muttered. Underscore 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 underscore. The Zothar mothership loomed closer with every passing second, its shielded surface a mocking reminder of the enemy's technological superiority. Captain, Bacall said, her voice tinged with urgency. I'm detecting a massive energy spike from the mothership. It looks like they're charging a primary weapon. How much time do we have? I asked. Minutes, maybe less, she replied. A chill ran down my spine. If that weapon fired, it wouldn't just hit us, it could devastate Earth itself. Carter, I said, forget finesse. I need those satellites online now. We're doing everything we can, he replied. But this tech is ancient. Ancient's what we need. I cut him off. Rely on instinct. Make it work. Bacall looked at me, her expression serious. What's the plan if the satellites fail? I met her gaze, my jaw tightening. They won't fail. The bridge fell silent for a moment, save for the hum of the engines and the distant sound of weapons fire. Then Carter's voice broke through. Captain, we've got the first frequency online, he said. Patching it through now. The Odyssey's systems buzzed as the signal was transmitted, a faint pulse that resonated across the void. On the display, the edge of the Zothar mothership shields flickered, just for a moment, but it was enough. "It's working," McCall exclaimed. "Not fast enough," I said. "Amplify it. Use everything we've got." As the signal grew stronger, the Zothar ships faltered, their movements becoming erratic. But the mothership remained steady, its shields flickering but unbroken. "We're running out of time," McCall said. I took a deep breath, my mind racing. "Prepare a direct strike on the mothership's core. If the satellites don't take it down, we'll finish the job ourselves." The Odyssey surged toward the Zothar mothership, the vast alien construct now filling the viewport. Its shields flickered with growing instability as the ancient satellite signals bombarded it. But it wasn't enough. "Shields are weakening, but it's not fast enough," McCall said, her voice tight. "The mothership's weapon is at 85% charge." "Captain, we've brought 3 more satellites online," Carter reported. "The signal's getting stronger, but those shields are layered. It's like peeling back armor plate by plate. Then we peel faster," I replied. "McCall, give me a firing solution on the core." She nodded and worked her console. "Targeting locked. But Captain, if the shields don't drop completely, our weapons won't penetrate." "We'll worry about that when we get there," I said. Behind us, the Zothar interceptors swarmed like angry hornets. The ship rocked as their weapons pounded our already strained shields. "Shields down to 28%, Riley shouted. "Helm, bring us closer to the debris field," I ordered. "Use the wreckage for cover. Weapons, focus on those interceptors. We can't let them flank us." The Odyssey dipped and twisted through the shattered remains of long-dead ships. Our railguns fired with precision, taking out 2 more Zothar ships, but the rest pressed their assault relentlessly. In the engineering bay, Carter worked furiously. Sparks flew from a console as he rerouted power to boost the satellite signal. "Damn it, hold together," he muttered, sweat dripping from his brow. Hayes, our comms officer, called out, "Another satellite just went online. Signal strength is at 78%. Carter grinned despite himself. "We're getting there. Captain, give me another 5 minutes, and we'll have enough to break through those shields." On the bridge, McCall's face was grim. "Captain, the Zothar mothership's weapon is at 98%. If they fire, Earth won't stand a chance." I clenched my fists. Every second felt like an eternity. "Carter, I need those shields down now." "Working on it," he shouted back over the comms. A warning klaxon blared as the mothership's weapon systems glowed, its energy building to a crescendo. "Captain," McCall said, her voice barely above a whisper, "they're about to fire." Time seemed to slow as the massive weapon unleashed its power. A beam of searing energy shot forth, aimed directly at Earth. "Helm full thrust," I shouted. "Intercept that beam." The Odyssey rocketed forward, placing itself between the weapon and Earth. The ship shuddered violently as the beam struck our shields head-on. "Shields down to 3%, Riley cried. "We can't take another hit like that." But the beam began to waver, its strength faltering. "Captain!" Carter's voice came through the comms, triumphant. "The satellite's full signal strength. The mothership shields are collapsing." On the display, the Zothar mothership's glowing barrier shattered like glass, leaving its core exposed. "McCall, fire everything we've got," I ordered. The Odyssey unleashed a barrage of missiles and railgun rounds, each shot aimed directly at the heart of the alien vessel. Explosions rippled across its surface, and the massive ship trembled under the onslaught. But the Zothar weren't finished yet. A final wave of interceptors broke through the debris field, their weapons tearing into the Odyssey's hull. "We've got breaches on multiple decks," McCall reported. "Divert all power to weapons and engines," I said. "We finish this now or not at all." Carter's voice crackled over the intercom. Captain, there's one more thing. The satellites, they're overloading. When they fail, the mothership might recover its shields. How long do we have? I asked. Minutes, maybe less. I took a deep breath. Helm, bring us in closer. We're taking the shot ourselves. McCall stared at me. Captain, at this range. I know, I said, cutting her off. But if we don't, Earth is finished. The Odyssey barreled toward the mothership, weapons blazing. The core of the alien vessel pulsed with unstable energy, its systems failing under the combined assault. Target locked, McCall said, her hands trembling slightly on the controls. Fire, I said. A final volley struck the core dead center. For a moment, everything went silent. Then, with a deafening roar, the Zothar mothership erupted in a cascade of light and fire. The explosion sent shockwaves through the battlefield, scattering debris in all directions. The Odyssey was thrown back, its systems flickering as the crew braced for impact. Status? I asked, my voice hoarse. McCall checked her console. The mothership is gone. The remaining Zothar ships are retreating. Earth is safe. A cheer erupted across the bridge, but I couldn't bring myself to celebrate. The cost had been too high, the risks too great. I stared out at the now empty void where the Zothar mothership had been, the weight of the moment settling over me. The bridge was a battleground of its own. Sparks erupted from damaged consoles, the flickering lights barely illuminating the exhausted faces of the crew. Outside, the remnants of the Zothar mothership hung ominously, a Pyrrhic victory overshadowed by the regrouping of their fleet. Captain, the interceptors are reforming, McCall warned, her voice strained. They're gathering near the largest remaining Zothar vessel. If they rally, Earth won't survive the next assault. My jaw tightened as I stared at the tactical display. The remaining Zothar forces were reorganizing into a formidable formation, clearly intent on launching another attack. The wreckage of their mothership hadn't broken their resolve. It had only made them more dangerous. Shields? I asked. Barely holding at 12%, McCall replied. And our weapons systems are down to 40% efficiency. We can't withstand another full-scale engagement. A grim silence fell over the bridge. The odds were impossible. Earth's defenses were still crippled, and the Odyssey was little more than a battered survivor. But surrender wasn't an option. Not for me, not for my crew, and certainly not for Earth. There's another way, I said finally, my voice cutting through the tension. McCall turned to me, her brow furrowed. What are you thinking, Captain? The Zothar core fragment in the cargo bay, I said. It's unstable, radiating enough energy to take out what's left of their fleet if we detonate it close enough to their command vessel. Her eyes widened. Captain, that's a suicide mission. It's a mission Earth needs, I replied, my tone resolute. I in the cargo bay. The Zothar core fragment pulsed with an eerie light, its surface shifting as if alive. The containment field around it flickered intermittently, barely holding back the vast energy within. Carter and his engineering team were gathered around the device, their faces a mix of fascination and dread. Carter, I called out, stepping into the bay. He looked up, his expression grim. Captain, this thing is a ticking time bomb. Even in containment, it's becoming unstable. If it breaches, that's exactly what we need, I interrupted. I'm taking it aboard a shuttle and delivering it to the heart of their fleet. Carter's eyes widened. Captain, you can't be serious. The energy released from that thing would vaporize everything within miles. You won't make it out. I know, I said quietly. He stepped forward, his voice lowering. There has to be another way. There isn't, I replied. This is the only shot we have to end this. If we don't, Earth won't survive their next attack. Back on the bridge, I addressed the crew. Their faces were worn, marked with exhaustion and worry, but they stood ready, their loyalty unwavering. "You've all given everything for this mission," I said, my voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "And because of you, Earth has a chance. But to finish this, I need to do something final. I'll be taking the Zothar core fragment aboard a shuttle and delivering it to their fleet." A murmur rippled through the crew, their disbelief palpable. "Captain, there has to be another way," McCall said, stepping forward. "We can't lose you." "This isn't about me," I said firmly. "It's about Earth. It's about humanity standing up and proving that we don't back down, no matter the odds." McCall's eyes glistened, but she nodded. "Then let us help. We'll cover you as long as we can." "Thank you," I said, meeting her gaze. "You're the best crew I've ever served with. It's been an honor." The shuttle's engines hummed as it detached from the Odyssey, carrying me and the volatile Zothar core fragment toward the enemy fleet. I adjusted the controls, my focus unshakable as the enemy ships grew larger on the display. Inside the cramped cockpit, the core pulsed like a living thing, its light casting eerie shadows on the walls. It was beautiful in a way, a creation of destruction that could bring salvation. The comms crackled as McCall's voice came through. "Captain, the interceptors are closing in on your position. We're drawing their fire, but you won't have much time." "Understood," I replied, weaving the shuttle through the debris field. "Keep them busy as long as you can. And McCall, you're in command now." There was a pause before she answered, her voice steady despite the emotion I could feel beneath it. "Yes, Captain. We'll make you proud." The Zothar fleet loomed ahead, their largest ship acting as the command vessel. It was a monstrous construct, its surface alive with shifting patterns of light and energy. "They know what you're carrying," Bacall said over the comms. "Their ships are repositioning to block you." "Then I'll go through them," I replied, pushing the shuttle to its limits. The interceptors closed in, their weapons lighting up the void. I twisted the shuttle through the chaos, every move precise, every second vital. The Zothar ships were relentless, their firepower unmatched, but the Odyssey and her crew were still fighting, drawing their attention just enough to give me an opening. As I approached the command vessel, alarms blared in the cockpit. The containment field around the core was failing, the energy within building to critical levels. "This is it," I muttered, locking the shuttle's trajectory on a collision course. "Captain," Bacall's voice came through one last time. "You're clear. Godspeed." The shuttle surged forward, breaking through the final line of defenses. The command vessel's surface rippled with activity, as if sensing its impending doom. I closed my eyes, a strange calm washing over me. My thoughts drifted to Earth, the blue skies, the smell of rain, the people I'd fought to protect. "This is for Earth," I whispered. The core breached containment, its energy erupting in a blinding wave dot on the Odyssey. The crew watched in stunned silence as the Zothar command vessel was consumed in the explosion. The shockwave rippled outward, tearing through the remaining enemy ships and scattering their remnants across the void. "They're gone," Bacall said, her voice barely above a whisper. A cheer erupted across the bridge, but it was tempered by the knowledge of what had been lost. Earth was safe. The Zothar threat had been eradicated, their fleet reduced to debris. But the cost of victory was felt in every corner of the ship, every tear shed for the captain who had made the ultimate sacrifice. On the bridge, McCall stood at the viewport, staring out into the endless expanse of stars. A small plaque had been mounted near the captain's chair, bearing Roger's final words. "Humanity doesn't break. Not today, not ever." She took a deep breath, her hands steady as she gripped the chair's armrests. "Helm, set a course for Earth," she said. "We've got a story to tell." As the Odyssey moved through the void, McCall allowed herself a faint smile. Somewhere, she was sure, Captain Rogers was still watching, guiding them forward. "Until next time," she murmured, "we'll keep looking up."